It was a day unlike any other in human history. The sky, a clear sweep of blue, was abruptly broken by the seamless entry of three massive ships that hovered silently above the Earth's major cities. Their design was unlike anything imaginable, sleek, dark, and impossibly smooth, reflecting the sunlight in an almost blinding manner. The arrival of the Zeltrons, as they would soon be known, marked the beginning of a new era. Initial reactions ranged from awe to fear across the globe. As governments scrambled to respond, the United Nations took the lead, forming a special committee to handle communication with the new visitors. The world watched through live broadcasts, waiting anxiously for any sign of their intentions. After several tense hours of silence, the Zeltrons made their first move. A broadcast, flawlessly translated into every major language, emanated from the ships. The message was concise: "People of Earth, we come in peace and seek meaningful interaction." The voice, oddly melodious, calmed many nerves, but the underlying tension remained palpable. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of diplomatic exchanges. The Zeltrons were surprisingly forthcoming with their technology, offering insights into their advanced propulsion and energy systems, which far surpassed anything on Earth. They were beings from a galaxy far beyond the local group, possessing knowledge that could leapfrog human technology by centuries. However, despite their technological superiority, the Zeltrons seemed peculiarly fascinated with Earth's military, particularly its ceremonial aspects and training regimens. They attended military parades and exercises, observing with an unnervingly detached amusement. Their laughter, a strange, echoing sound, often filled the air as they watched cadets struggling through basic training exercises. It was clear they found the primitive display either quaint or ridiculous. This laughter did not sit well with the military leaders or the cadets who bore the brunt of this alien ridicule. Many young soldiers felt mocked and demeaned, fueling a growing resentment towards the visitors. The media picked up on this sentiment, broadcasting clips of the Zeltrons' reactions alongside interviews with humiliated cadets and their indignant superiors. Colonel James Henderson, a veteran with a steely gaze and a no-nonsense approach to his duty, became the unofficial spokesman for the aggrieved parties. In a widely viewed interview, he expressed his concerns: "Their technology is undoubtedly advanced, but respect is a universal currency. If they are to be our allies, mutual respect is non-negotiable." Behind closed doors, diplomatic efforts intensified to bridge this cultural divide. The Zeltrons were puzzled by the human response to their behavior. In their culture, laughter was not scorn but a sign of engagement and interest. The misunderstanding was emblematic of the broader communication challenges that lay ahead. As diplomats worked tirelessly to foster understanding, the Zeltrons proposed an interspecies military exercise. They intended it as a gesture of goodwill and a means to better understand human military practices. To the Earth's leaders, this was an opportunity to set the record straight and show that their military prowess was not to be taken lightly. The preparations for this joint exercise became a focal point for Earth's military, with hopes that it would restore human pride and demonstrate the effectiveness of Earth's military strategies. Little did they know, this event would change the course of human-alien relations forever. The joint military exercises were scheduled to take place on a vast plain near the Rockies, chosen for its isolation and ample space. As the day approached, military bases around the globe buzzed with activity. Troops and equipment were mobilized, strategies refined, and the media's coverage intensified. The world's attention was riveted on what was being billed as the first interstellar military collaboration. In the weeks leading up to the event, the Zeltrons' continued presence at various military bases, where their laughter and apparent condescension had become a common grievance among the troops, did little to ease the growing friction. The alien visitors seemed oblivious to the simmering discontent their behavior was causing. This cultural blind spot was proving to be a significant barrier, one that Earth's diplomats struggled to navigate. Colonel Henderson, tasked with coordinating the exercises, was under no illusions about the challenge ahead. His days were filled with logistical planning and late-night strategy sessions, but his nights were haunted by the mocking echoes of Zeltran laughter. It was clear to him that this was not just about military prowess, it was about honor and proving Earth's worth. Meanwhile, the public's perception of the Zeltrans began to shift. Initial awe and curiosity gave way to resentment as news outlets played and replayed clips of the Zeltrans laughing during solemn ceremonies and training mishaps. Satirical cartoons and opinion pieces depicting the Zeltrans as elitist intergalactic bullies began to circulate, adding fuel to the fire. Amidst this backdrop, a group of young cadets, including Marcus, a particularly sharp and resourceful officer in training, saw an opportunity not just to participate but to make a statement. They formed a team, dedicating themselves to understanding the Zeltrans' technology and tactics. Marcus believed that adapting their strategies to counter the aliens' advanced technology could turn the tide. His enthusiasm and strategic acumen quickly made him a central figure in the preparations. As the day of the exercise drew closer, tension reached a boiling point. The Zeltrans, finally sensing the hostility, proposed a preliminary meeting to address cultural misinterpretations. At this gathering, their leader, Commander Vorel, spoke earnestly, "We have observed your preparations and sense your unease. It is not our custom to belittle but to engage openly. We laugh not in derision but in what we perceive as a shared joy of learning." The response from Earth's representatives was mixed. While some were willing to accept this explanation and work towards mutual understanding, others remained skeptical, viewing it as a convenient excuse for what they perceived as earlier disrespect. On the eve of the exercise, Marcus and his team unveiled their strategy. They had devised a series of maneuvers designed not only to showcase their tactical skills but also to exploit what they had identified as potential over-reliance on technology among the Zeltrans. Their plan involved a combination of electronic warfare, decoys, and rapid, unpredictable movements that they hoped would unsettle the technologically superior aliens. The stage was set, and as dawn broke over the Rockies, the air was electric with anticipation. Thousands of troops, hundreds of vehicles, and an array of both earthly and alien tech lined up, ready to engage. The world watched as broadcasters set the scene, with live feeds streaming to every corner of the globe. The exercise commenced with a high-stakes parade of technology and power. Earth's forces, led by Marcus and supervised by Colonel Henderson, moved with precision and determination. The Zeltrans, for their part, showcased astonishing aerial maneuvers and showcased energy-based weapons that hummed ominously through the air. As the day progressed, it became apparent that the Earth forces were not just participating, they were competing. Every move was calculated, every strike choreographed perfectly to counter the Zeltrans' tactics. For the first time, the Zeltrans' laughter was absent, replaced by a focused, strategic engagement. The dust had barely settled on the Rockies when Marcus, fueled by a mix of adrenaline and a newfound confidence in his team's capabilities, proposed a direct challenge to the Zeltrans. This was not just another exercise, it was a head-to-head simulated ground battle, one that would not only test military skills but also strategic acumen under pressure. The challenge, bold and unexpected, quickly captured the global imagination and was all anyone could talk about. The Zeltrans, intrigued and perhaps a bit bemused by this sudden surge of human assertiveness, accepted the challenge. Commander Vorel, with a slight nod that was as close to a smile as their species came, responded, "We accept your challenge, young Earth Commander. Let us see the depth of your resolve and the strength of your strategies." With the challenge set, Marcus and his team plunged into preparation. They analyzed every piece of footage from the previous exercises, studying the Zeltrans' responses, tactics, and even their moments of hesitation. Marcus knew that the key to any chance of success lay in understanding the alien psyche as much as their technology. Back at the military base, the atmosphere was electric. This challenge had transformed from a mere military exercise into a symbol of Earth's resilience and ingenuity. The cadets worked tirelessly, running simulations, drilling new maneuvers, and refining their electronic warfare techniques. They introduced unpredictable elements into their strategies, hoping to exploit the Zeltrans' reliance on patterns and predictability. As Marcus orchestrated the preparations, Colonel Henderson provided a guiding hand. His experience and tactical knowledge were invaluable, helping to temper Marcus's youthful enthusiasm with the caution of seasoned wisdom. Together, they designed a multi-layered strategy that emphasized mobility and surprise, qualities they hoped would unsettle their technologically superior opponents. Meanwhile, media outlets across the world turned their attention to this upcoming showdown. Broadcasts analyzed potential outcomes, with experts debating whether Earth's audacious gambit could truly unsettle the Zeltrons. Public sentiment was a mix of pride, excitement, and a palpable undercurrent of anxiety. Everyone understood the stakes were high, not just for the immediate participants, but for Earth's standing in a larger interstellar context. As the day of the challenge approached, the site of the battle was prepared. An expansive area was cordoned off, filled with obstacles, mock urban environments, and varied terrains that could simulate a real battlefield. Spectators, both human and Zeltron, arrived from far and wide, and the event was set to be broadcast live across multiple galaxies, a testament to the importance of this encounter. On the eve of the battle, Marcus gathered his team. Under the harsh lights of the base's briefing room, he looked into the faces of his fellow cadets, seeing a reflection of his own determination mirrored back at him. Tomorrow, he began, his voice steady and clear, is about more than just proving our strategic worth. It's about showing that our spirit, our ingenuity, and our courage are just as strong as any technology. We fight not just for victory, but for respect. The night was short, with last-minute checks and quiet contemplations. Marcus spent it reviewing their plans, going over every possible scenario until the strategies were etched into his mind. As dawn broke, the world held its breath. The battlefield, a mix of natural and artificial environments, lay quiet and ominous. Earth's forces took their positions, hidden among the ruins and hills, their hearts beating a rapid tattoo of nerves and anticipation. The Zeltrons arrived with their usual quiet confidence, their sleek armor reflecting the early morning light. Commander Vorel surveyed the field, his gaze lingering on the hidden nooks and crannies that Marcus had insisted on incorporating into the terrain. With a deep breath, Marcus stepped forward to meet Vorel at the center of the field. They shook hands, an Earth tradition that the Zeltrons had come to respect. "May the best team win," Marcus said, a slight grin on his face. "Indeed," Vorel replied, his voice resonating with a calm that seemed almost out of place in the charged atmosphere. The signal was given, and as the observers retreated to safety, the battlefield went silent for a moment, pregnant with anticipation. Then, with the sound of a horn, the battle erupted, and the silence was shattered by the roar of engines, the crackle of gunfire, and the strategic dance of two civilizations clashing on an unprecedented scale. With the challenge accepted and the stakes clearly set, Marcus and his team entered into a phase of intense preparation. The base became a hive of activity, each day filled with rigorous training sessions, strategy meetings, and simulation tests. They knew that to stand a chance against the Zeltrons, it would take more than just traditional military tactics. It required innovation, adaptability, and a deep understanding of their opponent's technology and battle strategy. Marcus spearheaded the preparations, his leadership qualities shining as he motivated his team to push beyond their limits. They began with an exhaustive analysis of all available data on Zeltron technology, particularly their shielding systems and energy weapons. The team's tech specialists worked round the clock, devising methods to disrupt the Zeltrons' advanced systems, knowing that even a momentary lapse in their defenses could turn the tide in their favor. Simultaneously, Marcus emphasized the importance of unpredictability in their maneuvers. Traditional formations and strategies would be easily countered by the Zeltrons' superior technology. Instead, Marcus advocated for a guerrilla warfare approach, hit-and-run tactics, using the environment to their advantage, and never staying in one place long enough to be a fixed target. The training grounds were reconfigured daily, mimicking the very terrains of the battlefield to ensure the cadets could adapt to any situation. Colonel Henderson, observing the intense preparations, decided to bring in additional expertise. Former military strategists and veterans who had engaged in Earth's historical asymmetric conflicts were called in to share their insights. These sessions, often intense and grueling, were invaluable in shaping the young cadets' understanding of nonlinear warfare. As part of their preparation, the team also focused on psychological operations. Understanding that the Zeltrons had previously underestimated human capabilities, Marcus planned to exploit this by integrating psychological elements into their strategies. Fake signals, decoy operations, and misinformation campaigns were all part of the repertoire they prepared to deploy against the Zeltrons, aiming to confuse and demoralize them during the simulation. Technology played a crucial role as well. The Earth forces were not as advanced as the Zeltrons in terms of hardware, but human ingenuity in software and hacking could provide them an edge. The team's cyber warfare unit developed software patches to exploit any vulnerability in the Zeltron systems, even if these were temporary and required perfect timing to be effective. The media's interest in the preparations grew as the day of the challenge approached. Reports highlighted the intense training and strategic innovations being implemented by Marcus's team. Public support, initially skeptical, began to rally behind them, with broadcasts showing live feeds from the training grounds where the cadets practiced day and night. This media coverage not only boosted the morale of the team but also highlighted the unity and determination of Earth's forces to the galaxy at large. In the final week before the simulation, Marcus organized a series of mock battles, each designed to mimic possible scenarios they might face against the Zeltrons. These exercises were brutal, pushing the team to their limits and beyond, but with each session, their skills sharpened, and their confidence grew. 2 days before the event, Marcus gathered his team for a final briefing. The room was tense, the air thick with anticipation and anxiety. Marcus stood before his team, his presence commanding and reassuring. He looked each member in the eye, acknowledging their hard work and dedication. "Each one of you has prepared tirelessly for this moment," Marcus began, his voice steady and strong. "We've pushed ourselves harder than we thought possible. We've innovated, adapted, and overcome countless challenges to prepare for this day. Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves, we're fighting for Earth's place among the stars. We are ready. Trust in your training, trust in each other, and no matter what happens, know that I am proud of each and every one of you." The team responded with a resolute nod, a silent acknowledgement of the weight of their task and their readiness to face it. They were no longer just cadets, they were Earth's emissaries, ready to prove that humanity's spirit and ingenuity could meet any challenge, even from a technologically superior alien race. As they left the briefing room, the base buzzed with final preparations. Weapons were checked, communication systems tested, and personal messages sent home. The next morning, as they marched towards the simulated battlefield, each step was filled with determination. The world watched, holding its breath, as Earth's defenders prepared to show the galaxy that human courage and cleverness knew no bounds. This preparation chapter sets the stage for a clash of technology versus tenacity, showcasing the transformation of underdogs into determined contenders. As dawn broke over the simulated battlefield, the air was filled with a mixture of anticipation and tension. The field, a complex terrain of hills, valleys, and artificial structures, was alive with the sounds of movement and last-minute checks. Marcus and his team, clad in their adaptive combat suits, reviewed their plans one last time, their faces a mask of focus and determination. The Zeltrons, with their sleek, reflective armor and quiet demeanor, assembled on the opposite end of the field. Their advanced weaponry and sensor systems glinted under the rising sun, a silent testament to their technological prowess. Commander Vorel, standing at the forefront, surveyed the terrain with an air of calm assurance. As the observers and dignitaries took their places in the shielded viewing stands, a hush fell over the crowd. The event, broadcasted live across Earth and beyond, drew millions of viewers, each breathlessly awaiting the outcome of this unprecedented confrontation. The signal to begin was given by a sharp, resonant tone that echoed across the field. Instantly, the battlefield burst into action. Marcus's team, utilizing their guerrilla tactics, dispersed quickly, vanishing into the environment. Their movements were erratic, designed to confuse and mislead the Zeltron sensors that thrived on predictable patterns. The Zeltrons responded with methodical precision, advancing with coordinated movements that showcased their disciplined training. Their first wave employed non-lethal energy beams, designed to subdue rather than destroy, revealing their intent to capture rather than kill. However, they soon encountered the first of many surprises Marcus had prepared. A series of decoys, holographically masked as Earth soldiers, drew fire and diverted the Zeltran forces, allowing real cadets to flank their positions. This initial success bolstered the spirits of Marcus's team, their cheers briefly audible over the comms before Marcus called for focus, reminding them that this was but the first move in a complex game. As the battle progressed, Earth's forces executed hit-and-run attacks, never engaging directly for long. Their objective was clear: to harry and wear down the Zeltrans, exploiting their temporary confusion and adapting quickly to counter-responses. Marcus, monitoring the battle from a mobile command center, adjusted tactics in real time, directing his units with precision. The Zeltrans, for their part, quickly adapted to the new form of engagement. Commander Vorel, recognizing the change in tactics, deployed aerial surveillance drones to track the movements of Earth's forces. These drones, equipped with advanced AI, began to predict and counter the guerrilla tactics, forcing Marcus to innovate further. In a bold move, Marcus's tech team deployed a cyber attack, briefly disabling the Zeltran drones. This window of opportunity allowed Earth forces to regroup and launch a concentrated assault on a key Zeltran position. The battle grew intense, with energy blasts and explosions lighting up the battlefield, creating a chaotic symphony of noise and light. Throughout the day, the tide of battle shifted back and forth. Each side gained and lost ground, with strategies continuously evolving. The Zeltrans showcased their resilience and technological edge, adapting their shields and weapon systems to counter Earth's tactics. Earth's forces, driven by a fierce determination to prove themselves, fought with a passion and ingenuity that seemed to take the Zeltrans by surprise. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the battlefield, both sides paused to reassess. The day had been long, and both Earth and Zeltran forces were visibly fatigued. The pause was brief, however, as both commanders understood the importance of momentum. The final phase of the battle commenced with a daring maneuver by Marcus. Anticipating a major offensive from the Zeltrans, he gathered his best units for a decoy operation, leading the main Zeltran forces away from their command post. Meanwhile, a small, elite team made a covert advance on the now under-guarded Zeltran base. The day ended with a dramatic climax as Marcus's team successfully infiltrated the Zeltran command post, securing critical data and technology. The move was not only a tactical victory but also a symbolic one, proving that human ingenuity and spirit could indeed match Zeltran technology. As the simulation ended, both sides converged on the center of the battlefield, weary but respectful. The observers and viewers around the galaxy watched as Marcus and Commander Vorel met amidst the debris, their handshakes signaling the end of hostilities and the beginning of a mutual respect that had been hard-earned on both sides. As the dust settled on the simulated battlefield, the atmosphere was thick with exhaustion and adrenaline. Both Earth and Zeltran forces had demonstrated incredible prowess, but it was the unexpected success of Marcus's final maneuver that had tipped the scales. The day had ended with Earth's cadets managing to infiltrate the Zeltran command post, a feat few had thought possible given the technological gap. The night following the battle was one of reflection and celebration for Marcus and his team. They gathered around a large, makeshift bonfire near their encampment, the flames casting flickering shadows on their tired but triumphant faces. They shared stories of narrow escapes and daring feats, each tale bolstering their camaraderie and pride. Meanwhile, Commander Vorel and his officers processed the day's events in a more subdued manner. The Zeltrans, not used to such spirited resistance, analyzed every detail of the battle. It was clear to Vorel that they had underestimated the humans' capability for rapid adaptation and improvisation. This realization was both a professional and a personal awakening for him. The respect for his opponents was now tinged with a genuine admiration for their tenacity and creativity. The following day, leaders from both sides convened for a debriefing, an event broadcasted to audiences across both worlds. The setting was formal, with representatives from various nations and planets in attendance, underscoring the importance of the engagement as a cornerstone for future interstellar relations. Marcus, chosen to speak for Earth, stood confidently at the podium. His uniform, though clean, bore the subtle markings of the previous day's strife, a badge of honor in the eyes of his peers. Yesterday, he began, his voice carrying through the assembly, we did not just engage in a battle of weapons and wits. We engaged in a profound exchange of cultures and capabilities. We learned that courage is universal, and respect is earned not bestowed. Commander Vorel, speaking next, echoed Marcus's sentiments. The battlefield has always been a harsh teacher, he said, his voice resonant and clear. But from this confrontation, we take away lessons not just in strategy, but in understanding. We have seen the heart of humanity, their resilience, and their honor. We are all richer for this experience. The speeches were well received, but the true turning point came from the interactions that followed. In a series of joint workshops and meetings, Earth and Zeltron military strategists began to share insights and tactics openly. The Earth team demonstrated their guerrilla tactics and adaptive strategies, while the Zeltrons offered workshops on energy management and shield modulation. This exchange of knowledge was groundbreaking, a fusion of tradition and innovation. Public perception shifted dramatically in the days that followed. Media coverage focused on the unity and mutual respect that had emerged from the battle. The images of Earth soldiers and Zeltron warriors standing shoulder to shoulder, analyzing battle simulations, and discussing strategies became a powerful symbol of newfound respect and cooperation. For Marcus and his team, the days after the battle were a whirlwind of accolades and interviews. They were hailed as heroes, not just for their bravery and skill, but for bridging a gap between two vastly different cultures. Marcus, however, knew that the real heroes were his team, whose dedication and spirit had turned the tide not just in a simulated battle, but in the perceptions of two civilizations. The newfound respect between Earth and the Zeltrons also had tangible benefits. Technology exchanges were proposed, with Earth gaining access to advanced energy systems and the Zeltrons taking interest in human ingenuity in software and cyber warfare. These exchanges promised to accelerate technological advancement on Earth while offering the Zeltrons fresh perspectives on innovation. The silence of the battlefield had given way to a buzz of collaboration and mutual respect. The war games had started as a demonstration of strength but ended as a celebration of shared values and potential. In this new dawn, Marcus and Vorel stood not as rivals, but as comrades, their bond forged in the fires of competition and solidified in the peace that followed. This chapter not only highlighted the climax of the military engagement but also set the stage for a deeper, more meaningful alliance between Earth and the Zeltron civilization. The dust of the simulated battlefield had long settled, but the impact of the event continued to resonate deeply across both Earth and the Zeltron homeworld. The aftermath of the military exercise evolved into a pivotal moment for interstellar diplomacy and mutual understanding, transforming initial rivalry into a burgeoning alliance. In the days following the battle, delegations from both sides met to formalize the bonds that had begun to form. These meetings, once stiff and formal, were now characterized by a newfound warmth and respect. Earth's representatives, including Marcus, were invited to the Zeltron homeworld, a gesture of goodwill that marked the first such visit by humans to another star system. The journey to the Zeltron planet was a spectacle of wonder for the Earth delegates. Their arrival was broadcast live, capturing the imagination of countless viewers back home. The Zeltron homeworld was a marvel of technology and beauty, with towering structures that shimmered with metallic hues and vast green belts that demonstrated their advanced ecological technologies. Commander Vorel personally welcomed Marcus and his team. The ceremony was rich with Zeltron culture, from the harmonious melodies of their greeting songs to the intricate dances that told stories of their history and achievements. The Earth delegates were treated not just as guests but as honored friends, a testament to the deep respect forged in the fires of simulated combat. During their stay, Marcus and his team were given a tour of the Zeltron's advanced facilities. They visited research labs where energy systems far beyond current Earth technology were developed, and military academies where the strategic doctrines that had challenged them on the battlefield were taught. This exchange was not one-sided. Earth's representatives shared their own insights and innovations, contributing ideas for new technology integrations that could benefit both worlds. The highlight of the visit was the signing of the Treaty of Shared Stars, a formal agreement that established a framework for ongoing cooperation between Earth and the Zeltron Empire. The treaty covered various aspects of interstellar relations, including trade, technology exchange, mutual defense, and cultural exchange programs. It was a comprehensive document, crafted to ensure that the partnership was balanced and beneficial for both parties. Back on Earth, the impact of these developments was profound. The technology shared by the Zeltrons accelerated Earth's technological development by decades, leading to breakthroughs in energy production, environmental restoration, and medicine. Meanwhile, Earth's culture and spirit of resilience became subjects of fascination among the Zeltrons, who found human art, music, and literature to be profoundly moving and complex. In the military academies and strategic think tanks, the lessons learned from the engagement with the Zeltrons were analyzed and integrated into training programs. Marcus, now a decorated officer, often spoke at these institutions, sharing his experiences and the insights gained from facing an opponent who was both alien and, ultimately, a partner. The story of the conflict, the challenge, and the eventual partnership between Earth and the Zeltrons became a popular subject in media and academia. Documentaries, books, and academic papers explored the nuances of the engagement, emphasizing the transformative power of respect and understanding in overcoming initial hostility. Years later, as Marcus stood before a new class of cadets at Earth's premier military academy, he reflected on the journey that had brought them to this point. He spoke not just of tactics and strategy, but of the importance of empathy and open-mindedness in leadership. The true strength of a leader, Marcus told the attentive cadets, lies not just in how they lead their troops in battle, but in how they bridge worlds and forge alliances. Remember, the battlefield may test your courage, but it is the peace that follows which tests your wisdom and your heart. As Marcus's words echoed in the hall, it was clear that the legacy of that pivotal engagement went beyond mere military achievement. It had sparked a broader evolution, one that reshaped Earth's place in the cosmos and redefined the future of interstellar relations. The silence that had once fallen over the battlefield had given way to a symphony of cooperation, echoing through the shared stars of two once distant civilizations, now united in purpose and mutual respect.